G'day guys and gal, today is the last day of Raven Week, so I thought we could pivot away from the Raven Lord a little bit and instead look at his sons. No one really seems to play the Raven Guard. I basically never see cool Raven Guard paint jobs pop up in my feeds, and unless you're a lore nerd, you probably know piss all about them, other than the fact that they are sneaky and they like Linkin Park. But the Raven Guard are actually one of the most level-headed, tactically brilliant, awesome Space Marine legions / chapters. From punching way above their weight during the Horus Heresy to crushing some Tau balls in 40k, the bird boys are dope and they deserve some love. Today is also the absolute final 24 hours of the Ravenlord Trader Hunter sale. No more extensions, this is the last chance before he's gonzos. If you somehow haven't heard, I worked with one of the world's greatest modelists to forge my 2024 masterpiece, an amazingly detailed, well-proportioned Ravenlord who is available in 4 different scales. Tabletop for the wargamers of you out there, 75mm for the painters who like their details a bit bigger, 112 for the project bust pieces, and 16 for the true animals amongst you. The support on this launch has been incredible, and it gives me the confidence to push even harder with even more insane releases we have coming up. For the final 24 hours, we will continue to also provide a free cosplay calendar with every purchase. A4 size for 32 or 75mm scales, and A3 size for the 112 or 16 scales. If you've missed out on the calendar when it launched at the start of the year, now is your chance to see high-res, stunning cosplays worn by attractive women with their boobs out. Need I say more? Link is below. Final 24 hours and then we move on. Onwards and upwards, baby. Today we'll go over all the examples in the lore that display why the Raven Guard are such badasses, as well as discuss why they're so underrated. It won't be like a full lore retelling, more like a highlight reel. Also, quick shout out to Alex Christie for this amazing thumbnail art. Full res version is available to download for free on my Patreon. Let's get into it. The Raven Guard and their Primarch are unique in a lot of ways, even from the beginning. It's heavily implied that Corvus was the only Primarch that the Emperor told Chaos about, trusting his will and logical thinking to be able to understand it, understand why it's bad, and why the Emperor wanted to keep it on the DL. The Emperor didn't even trust the Lion with this information. Corvus was also able to see through a lot of the Emperor's visages and illusions, nearly seeing him truly as the man he was. It's this perception, this ability to see through the layers and layers of personality and control, that also made Corvus the first Primarch to think Horus was a total douchebag. See, before Corvus took command of the Raven Guard, Horus used them as his stealth wing of the Lunar Wolves, something which wasn't super common and was actually quite frowned upon. That being using another legion as if they were your own, rather than an equal brother legion. Then there was the incident of Gate 42, where Horus ordered the Raven Guard to commit to a vicious frontal assault on an enemy stronghold. Corvus was like, that's fucking retarded, surely let us do it the Raven Guard way. Draw them out, hit and run, make them vulnerable for one of you guys to destroy. After all, this campaign had the Lunar Wolves, Space Wolves, and Iron Warriors involved, legions that are supposed to commit to frontal assaults. Corvus was overruled and he was forced to watch thousands of his sons getting annihilated as they charge an enemy stronghold without cover. Corvus would take the stronghold, but the casualties were wildly high. The only silver lining was that most of the dead were Terran-born, who Corvus did not like very much, due to them reminding him of the slave masters he grew up fighting against, and these Raven Guard would have likely wanted to join Horus during the heresy. Corvus would go on to punch Horus in the face and declare that he would never fight alongside him again, making him the first Primarch to see through all of Horus's smiles and facades. As another pretty dope pre-heresy moment, when Corvus and Guilliman played a tactical VR war sim game that G-Man often used for training, Corvus beat him 3 times in a row. The Lord of the Raven Guard used civilian populace, small strike teams, and hit and run tactics to confound and beat Guilliman's ordered legions and strict military doctrine, meaning that if the two brothers were to meet for the first time in a battle, hypothetically, Corax actually would have been more likely to win. It was only when Guilliman adapted to the tactics, as he adapts to almost anything, that he was finally able to start beating Corvus. However, it was during the Horus Heresy where the Raven Guard would be truly tested. They were one of the 3 loyalist legions sent to Isfahan who had no right to walk away from that. Getting spit roasted between 8 traitor legions and taken completely by surprise, it's a miracle anyone survived. When the trap was sprung, each legion and Primarch had a different tactic. Only one worked. Ferrus pushed deeper into the retreating enemies, causing his legion to be safe from the ambush, but now surrounded and outnumbered, he himself then being slain. Vulcan and the Salamanders charged the Iron Warriors' gun line, which was a very bad idea, the Salamanders suffering immense casualties as Vulcan was bombed to shit and then captured. It was only Corvus who actually got out, leading a breakout of thousands of Raven Guard by attacking the weakest traitor legion, the Wordbearers. Corvus slaughtered the Wordbearer Galvovac elite like they were nothing, disemboweled Lorgar and had him on the brink of death, and then managed to pull a number of his warriors out. See, the Raven Guard thought that the saying of victory or death is fucking retarded. Strike, retreat, then strike again was the Raven Guard way. Corvus and his warriors were able to evade, ambush, and kill a shitload of traders who were pursuing them until eventually they were rescued. Upon being rescued, did the Raven Guard have a sook and lick their wounds? No. Corvus instantly went to Terra to try rebuild his legion and get back in action. The Emperor was so impressed by Corvus's conviction, and he trusted him so much that he allowed Corvus to take the blueprint to the Astartes Primarch project. The blueprint's been enough to rapidly rebuild the Raven Guard Legion, with the catch of please don't let the traders get it or we are fucked. Corvus hadn't skipped a beat and he was already trying to get back in action. Now sure, the Raptor project, as it was called, didn't go super well due to the intervention of the Alpha Legion, but even with 500 mutated semi-chaos monster marines, Corvus was still resourceful. Those 500 mutated Raptor marines would have easily ended up killing over triple their number. Now despite losing most of his legion on Isfahan and accidentally creating a bunch of monsters, Corvus was like, "Cowabunga it is," and invaded hostile world after hostile world, liberating them time and time again. Even when he saw some fuck shit or he had his resolve challenged, he still fought on. I mean, even when he decided he wanted to die because he believed himself and his brothers to be a plague upon the galaxy, he wanted to die in style, charging headlong at a massive trader marine army, while invisible, and begun killing them while invisible, which would have been horrifying. He then was like, wait no, death is cringe, and he saved himself, the Raven Guard, and then saved Lehman and the Space Wolves. This dude was punching well above his weight and winning. The Raven Guard warriors who were within the Shattered Legion warbands were also always standouts. Nakonai Shariken was a complete badass, slaughtering Chaos champions left, right, and center, humiliating Lucius, and even squared up with Alfarius and told him to come the fuck on. Then there was the terrifyingly awesome Raven Guard librarian who traveled with Artellus Numion and many others. They always presented as very lethal and very capable. Out of all the Primarchs, Corvus was most in touch with who he truly was. The rest were so overloaded with doubt, it's a shocker that they got anything done. Corax faced his doubt and was baptized in blood and fire with it. This is why I believe he and only he managed to access his true Primarch power, that being to become a Shadow Raven demon thingo, which gave him the power to endure the Eye of Terror uncorrupted and be the word-bearer boogeyman for the past 10,000 years. The only other Primarch I know of unlocking their inner warp power is the Lion, who can now use his Forest Walk ability. The Raven Guard also have the Mordathan, the Shadow Masters, Raven Guard who inherited a measure of Corvus's Primarch ability to turn invisible and rage slip, making them Masters of the Shadow. Conrad was actually highly jealous of Corvus and the Raven Guard. Sure, they look similar, with their black eyes, pale skin, dark hair, and love of shoving lightning claws up people's asses, but while the Night Lords haunted the shadows, the Raven Guard owned them. The Raven Guard were the superior stealth masters. On top of this, the Raven Guard had patterns of weapons and vehicles that no other legion had due to their homeworld acting as their own private forge world. Shadow Hawks instead of Thunderhawks, Whisper Cutters, and so on. Their power armor was also quieter than normal. When the Mechanicum was experimenting with the Beaked armor variant, a lot of the legions disliked it, until the Raven Guard tried it and actually showed off how advanced it was and how much of an upgrade it was if you weren't a thick fuck. It was quickly adapted and then taken up by all legions after that, being named the Corvus pattern in honor of the Raven Guard Primarch. Even their starships were different. They had the unique technology that could channel power from their void shields into these shimmer shields, which effectively made their ships invisible, which is wild to think about. There was a scene where an extremely arrogant Thousand Sun sorcerer who could more or less see the future, due to being able to calculate almost anything, was taking on a Raven Guard ship in space. So far, the Thousand Sun had predicted everything, so he cockily told his crew where to point their guns, anticipating that the Raven Guard ship would be there. Just as he was about to order them to fire, it was revealed his calculations were wrong. The Raven Guard ship was not there. He only had time to say, "Oh fuck," before a massive volley of torpedoes struck his ship and killed it. The Raven Guard having completely outplayed the Thousand Suns using the shimmer shields. Now yes, their chapter master recently dying to the Tau wasn't the best look, but it did clear the way for K. Van Shrike to take command, and that guy's a total badass. One of those born to be a beast sort of guys, like Abaddon. He slaughtered his way through orcs and all kinds of horrors in his early years, being so impressive that he was gifted a pair of lightning claws forged by Corax himself thousands of years prior. When the previous Raven Guard chapter master fell, it was Shrike who counterattacked and pushed back the Tau, and it was Shrike who recovered the fallen corpses of his comrades. He was the natural new leader of the Raven Guard. Since the war against the Tau, the Raven Guard have taken a back foot in the setting, but I expect to see more of them soon, especially if Corax is the next Primarch to return. Wouldn't that be spicy? As a final note, if you're still not convinced, the Space Sharks are a successor chapter of the Raven Guard, so I reckon that alone brings them to the top. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the Ravenlord Trader Hunter. Final 24 hours, guys and gal. This is it. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more underrated content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.